Oh, hey guys, it's Alan for Boston Fan. And I just wanted to make a video to go over the Shriner show that concluded today, finished up this weekend. I went on Saturday and I could not have had a better time. So I wanted to kind of talk about my experience, show off my pickups a little bit, and kind of talk about where I feel like my collection's heading. So I went Saturday. It's the first time I've been able to go to the Shriner show on Saturday since my son was born in 2018. So his birthday's coming up in 3 days, and his party always ends up this weekend. So I always miss the Saturday portion, which I've always thought is the best day to go. I've been going to the show since I was a kid, off and on. I had a nice break in there, high school and college when I didn't go, but as soon as I was out on my own, I started going again. But anyway, so I always missed the Saturday portion, which of course it's worth it, but it was nice to go this year. We moved his birthday party to next weekend, so I had the day free, and I was definitely like super ramped up for it, really excited, did my best to prepare, but kind of went in wide-eyed, like not quite sure what I was looking for. I knew that if I saw something, and I would know when I knew. And so I went in. There was a lot of people there, huge line. I got there early, so I was one of the first 10 people in line, just because I'm a nerd like that. And I couldn't believe the vintage. I think what I'll lead off with, though, is one of the things I was excited about is that they had Bill Miller signing, from the 2004 Red Sox. And I've had this picture, I don't know, that long view. This is his single off Mariano Rivera that tied Game 4. And I've had this photo for a while, and I've wanted to get it signed, so it was really awesome to be able to get that signed. I think he signed it in a really great spot, right in the middle there. Just, I didn't need any inscription, and I thought blue would really look nice on this, on the white jersey, and it came out great. He couldn't have been nicer. And so that was awesome, getting to meet Bill Miller and finally getting that signed. That will eventually, when I get a sports room back, will go on my wall. But yeah, that was one of the biggest hits in Red Sox history, so I was super psyched to get that for my Red Sox collection. So anyway, so there's tons of vintage, and I've never been as focused on vintage as when I went this year, so I was kind of like wide-eyed in looking at all of it. Not only because I'd never been like so focused on vintage, but also I have a better idea of what I like, and I had more money to spend. I had budgeted a little bit more than I had in previous years. So now there were so many more possibilities, which was a heck of a lot of fun. And there was just so many awesome things there. Stuff that I'd never dream of, obviously. There were several 52 Mantles, T206s up the wazoo, but it was really cool. Now, I will say one of the coolest parts, and YouTubers talk about this a lot, and it can't be overplayed, but the social aspect of meeting up with fellow YouTubers is what everybody says it is. This is my first time actually like going out and extending myself enough to meet some people. I was able to meet Mike Junk Wax Hero, Jake from Wax Pack Wisdom, John Keating from That 70s Show, Dom at Staven Sports, and Sammy Thunder. I saw them all in a group, and I approached and just say, hey, you guys YouTube guys? And they all kind of chuckled, and I introduced myself. And Mike and Jake knew me because, I comment frequently on their videos. And I also had really good conversations with John Keating and Dom as well. And it was, really cool to talk to those guys. I kind of felt honored to be included. I just see myself, I'm a high school special ed teacher. I have this little YouTube channel where I just try to share my thoughts on collecting and kind of document my collecting history. And for those guys to like include me in the picture that they took and just being able to have hobby conversations is new to me, and it was really cool. And I felt just, kind of honored and very welcomed, and it was just so chill, and they were off to go take a picture, and I was like, you guys sure if I like tag along, because I feel like a lot of those guys have been in each other's videos, and Sammy Thunder said something really nice. He just like, hey, you make content, you comment, you're part of this, so come on. And I just thought that was so cool, and it was just really welcoming, and everything was just awesome. And so when people in their videos talk about how the social aspect is probably the best aspect of going to shows once you're in the YouTube community, they're not lying. And if you're someone who hasn't made a video or is unsure about taking that extra step, do it, because I was just like so happy after. It made me enjoy the show so much more. And Dom at Staven Sports, we walked around a little bit for a while and talked about the Red Sox and the 2004 Red Sox. He was a lot younger than me going through it, so we kind of talked about what we had witnessed, and it was just awesome. And I can't speak highly enough, one, of all those channels, which, in some regard, I hold them on its pedestal because I'm watching those channels every day that they have a video. I have, the alarm thing set up, notifications, that's what it is. I have it set up for all those guys' videos, and I learned so much through them. And to be put as a peer with them is, it's really just humbling, I guess. Like, I look up to those guys in terms of what they can share in the hobby, and the fact that I'm part of that is really cool. But I don't need to blab on about that. Guys, thanks for including me. I really appreciate that. Let me show you the pickups. I picked up some really cool stuff, and I just want to show it off. And I'm gonna, let's see. So I'll do the smallest stuff first. So this little stack where I love going through value boxes, 50-cent boxes. I did that for a good portion of the show, and I picked up all this stuff was either 33 cents, like 3 for $1, 50 cents each. So I've got the 76 Topps, this is Eckersley's rookie year leaders card, a couple cards for my 74 Topps set build that I'm slowly putting together. I have like 400 something cards of that set signed, so I figured I might as well get the rest of them and complete the set. So Ron Hunt, Ross Grimsley, Paul Splitorf, Mickey Lolich. He does sign through the mail, $20. Maybe I'll send that off. I thought this was pretty cool. An Eckersley 84 traded. I just sent to him the 87 traded, so maybe I'll have to send off again because that would look really cool signed. Joe Morgan's 84 traded card. Gary Carter, 85 traded. This is his first Mets card, and I thought that was pretty cool. Craig Biggio, I'm building a rookie binder right now, and I didn't have his Upper Deck rookie. Really the 3 Biggio cards I wanted, the Score, 88 Score, 88 Fleer, which I have, and then I needed this. And then this was in the bargain bin. This is a Tiffany. I don't know if you can see the shine right there. I thought that was cool for 33 cents. This one came up. I just think this is a really cool card. It's from the 79 top set, and having Maris season and Hank Aaron career. This was, I think, 50 cents. I just thought it was a really cool card. So I picked that up. And then 50 cents, Lee Smith. That's not right. Lee Smith's rookie again for my rookie binder. I needed that. So those are the small little pickups. And now I guess I will go through kind of the order of my other pickups. So first row or second row that I was checking out when I got there had some non-sport vintage. So I picked up these two. This is the John Quincy Adams, birthplace of John Quincy Adams house, and the state house of the 1911 Helmar tobacco set. So this being the birthplace of John Quincy Adams is actually John Adams' home. And this is obviously the Boston State House. This completes the run for me of the Helmar Historic Homes set that I wanted, the ones that meant something to me and ones that I visited and been around. Here's the backs of them. These are from 1911. Adams has a little stamp on it, but that's okay. It goes into the details. But $4, I've never seen the State House for $4 on eBay, so I thought that was a fantastic deal. And because of that, I didn't even need to haggle or whatnot. So I maybe overpaid paid a little bit more than I wanted to on the Adams, but I haven't seen a State House cheaper than $12 or $15. So that was awesome. And this is still in Boston. If you go to Boston today, there's a little marker right there out in the street where the Boston Massacre happened. This balcony is where they first read the Declaration of Independence in Boston after it had been signed. So 2 more to add to my historic home set, and that will complete the Massachusetts, not the Massachusetts run, because there's a lot more homes that are in Massachusetts, but I've never visited them and don't know much about them, so they don't really strike a chord with me. Then the next row, I found a vintage box that was $1 each. So all these cards, there's 12 in this stack. I got these for $10. And so I found a lot of dealers not only willing to deal, but they were just knocking prices off. So I picked these 12 cards and I was going to pay $12. And the dealer just said, how about 10? I was like, yeah, sure. If you want to knock $2 off, that's great. So for my 59 set, Roy Sievers Baseball Thrills, semi-high, 465, and the card after it, Billy Pierce. Whitey Herzog, Hall of Famer for $1 on the vintage 59. I'll probably list this because I already have it, or I'll check with my set. Quite off center, so that's probably why it was in the like value bin. I think he called them like low grade. It was a low grade box, but otherwise the cards are sharp. Nothing wrong with the surface. Now this card, these next two cards, I'll put the pack set stack down, just pick them up. These are pretty big. These are hard to find. Ford Frick is #1 in the set, so that can always be tough. And this typically goes for $8 to $12 on eBay. So to find it for $1 was awesome. And then Warren Giles was also in that pack. He's number 200. So to knock those two off for $1 each was a great deal. Super excited to pick those up. Reggie Smith, he was signing at the show. Here's a 67 rookie. That was $1. There's some creasing right there, but for $1, I thought that was a really cool ad. Mike Andrews also is a legend here in Boston. He ran the Jimmy Fund for a long time. Next up for $1, it's really nice 55 Dick Groat. I really, there's some rough edging here, but otherwise I guess there's a little crease here, but beautiful card. The centering's awesome. The image is really nice. For $1, I couldn't turn that down. This one ended up being free. It's early win. There's a giant crease in the middle, but even if it wasn't free because he knocked $2 off, I thought for $1 it's worth picking up to have the 56 early win card. Nice image, nice pose there. That was a no-brainer. This one, Newhouser, beautiful card other than a couple of the corners clipped, and then up here there's tape. But the rest of the card, the surface is great. There's no creases. For $1, even with the cut corners, like, I guess someone wrote $1 on the back. Really cool, and it's a beautiful card. And it's one that I want to pick up in a better grade, but for right now, this is pretty cool to have. He, of course, is, I think, the only pitcher ever to win back-to-back MVP awards. And then there were a couple 54s in there. Here's Billy Herman, Hall of Famer. His coaching card with the Brooklyn Dodgers. So I picked that one up. Again, maybe some surface issues, a little centering issue, but like these are great. Harvey Haddix, shout out to Eddie. I saw this, I thought of Eddie immediately. Great. I think it's great condition, especially since it's 54. And then this nice Red Sox Jackie Jensen card. There's some kind of creasing or bend here, but for $1, this was just awesome. And then in another box, I don't remember exactly what, but these were also $1. 52 Billy Goodman Bowman. Really nice image, really bright, other than the surface marks there. He won a batting title with the Red Sox in 1950, so I thought that was pretty cool. There's some wax staining of some sort on the back, but front of the card looks really nice. Harry Brasheen, 51 Bowman, $1. I was blown away that you get these cards for $1. Looks pretty good. He won 3 games against the Red Sox in the 1946 World Series. Mentions it down here on the back. But other than the small hairline crease in the corners, beautiful card for $1. And then this one's pretty beat up. It's Sam Jethro, the Boston Braves. I just wanted to pick up a card of him. I do plan on picking up his 50, 51, 52, which is a 52, at some point in better condition. He was early superstar, early star for the Braves, and won the 1950 NL Rookie of the Year. And I thought it was a pretty cool card. Just wanted to have that and couldn't pass it up for $1. So those were really cool. I don't know, the Billy Goodman, the Jackie Jensen Red Sox cards for $1 each. Like those are they're awesome, and they're going to go, I don't know where they'll go, but I'd like to display them sometime. And then next up, I started picking up some bigger stuff. And in the first row, and I never got the gentleman's name, but he had a whole bunch of tobacco cards. And he had one, I'm going to take it out of the sleeve. He had one that I've been looking for a while. It's a T205 Fred Parent card in a 2. And he had it listed at 60, which is lower than I've seen it on eBay without any creasing. So obviously edge and corner wear. That's very typical of the T205s with the gold border. Or it's technically copper flakes, but appears gold. And I've been looking for this card for a while. Why would I be looking for a White Sox card of a guy that's not in the Hall of Fame? It says it on the back. So he was a member of the 1903 and 1904 Red Sox who won the American League. They won the World Series in 1903, and then 1904, John McGraw refused to play in the World Series because he didn't view the American League as a proper Major League, and so his Giants refused to play the American League champions, so there was no World Series that year. Freddie Parent was a member of that team, and he does have a fan craze card that I would like to get sometime. Lists him as Boston, that you can't see Boston on his jersey, but I'm fairly certain that he was in a Boston uniform there. Additionally, some information about Freddie Parent, if you didn't know about him. He's a New Englander. He's from Maine. He was born there. He died there. And he was on the Baltimore Orioles after he'd been released by the White Sox and Charles Comiskey in 1911 or 1912. So he was on the Baltimore Orioles, and he played a big coaching role in Babe Ruth's life, and was actually instrumental in the sale that got him from Baltimore to Boston. Red Sox manager Bill Kerrigan trusted Fred Parent. He knew him from the major leagues, and so when Fred vouched for Babe Ruth, the sale went through, and Babe Ruth became a member of the Red Sox. And so in this one, the listing price was $60, and I had never seen it for that cheap, and so I was willing to pay the $60. I wasn't going to haggle. I'm not going to haggle if I find a great deal. If the dealer's offering a great deal, I'm not going to try to lower it. I feel like, if they're offering something awesome, I'm willing to pay it. And he just said, how about 50? He knocked it down $10 without me asking, just to do it. So that just kind of shows you what was going on at the show. Then at the very end, I'm going to show the end because that kind of matches here. There was Jeff Gross. Here's his card. He had a table with a lot of vintage and some tobacco cards. And he had this one. And this is also Fred Parent. And obviously I picked it up. It's a T206 Sweet Catback. And I had originally, this had been the Fred Parent card that I wanted to represent my collection, but I moved on to the T205 because I liked the portrait better. And a lot of times the printing issue on this is the red on the lips would be either overprinted and be very red, or it'd be off. And so it would be off his lips. So I was finding a lot on eBay that just didn't match up, so I kind of gave up on the card. Found this for $70 as is. I think this would grade probably a 2. It looks really nice. There's no paper loss. There's no real staining. I don't know if I can get it to focus. There we go. Just looks awesome. So we had it listed at $60. I asked if there was room. It was on consignment. So we knocked it. It was at $70. He knocked it down to $60. Wasn't sure because I'd already spent a bunch. Took a walk around the floor, see if I could find anything else I wanted, and I just kept thinking about this, so I went back and said I'm going to do the 60, and boom, done. The Fred Parent's mine. So now I've got little twinsies. I'll eventually submit this to SGC just so they match. And so as I was thinking about it when I got home last night, I realized that I'd picked up 2 Fred Parent cards, and I might be the Fred Parent guy on YouTube, and I thought I've got both Fred Parents, and I instantly thought to Step Brothers and was like, Fred Parent, did we just become best friends? Yep. So I think I'm the Fred Parent guy because I have both his tobacco cards. He's got a Sweet Cat pin, a Silk from 1911, a Colgan's Chips from 1907 that lists him as Chicago, but it's the same photo as his fan craze. So I think he's technically in his Boston uniform. And then, of course, that fan craze. So I might actually try to get all of them eventually. They're not high on my list, but I thought about it. So those are 2 huge pickups. I love getting the tobacco cards. I know this video is running long, but it was such a great show. Why not? And then, of course, in the middle of all that, I visited probably the best vintage dealer that's Massachusetts-based. He's at every Massachusetts show, or the ones that I go to, Matt from Providence. You can follow him here, call him there. He's a great vintage dealer. He prices his stuff really fairly, and he's willing to work with you. He's not going to knock a ton of money off, but he will work with you on pricing, especially if you bundle. So I don't know what order to print in these. I'll do it in this order. So I've been working on this list, and I haven't finalized it, but I'm trying to take a little bit of what John Wade Boggs fan did and what John 3D80's kid did, where Wade Boggs fan has the 100 cards for $10,000, 100 cards for $100,000. I wanted to make some kind of list of 100 cards to target. And then John 3D80's kid is trying to get one of every Hall of Famer without rookie cards. And I thought both those lists are really cool, and I want to make something like that. So I'm creating a list. It's in the works, whether it's going to be 100 different Hall of Famers, non-rookies, or 100 players from the golden era of baseball, say 46 through 1970. And I've made both lists. I just don't know which to pick from. So the next two cards are on both those lists. What it comes down to is basically of the players I decide, I pick what card I think is their best looking card, regardless of price, and that's the card that I chase for them. So the first one, and I ended up getting $5 off this. Matt from Providence had it at 10, is the George Kell 52 Bowman. I had targeted and wanted the 51 Bowman, but Chris from Missouri just made a video showing this one off, and I just thought it just looks better. There's, small wax stains there, but the front of the card is just so fantastic. With the Detroit hat, just so clear, you can see Detroit making it out right there. I just thought this was a better example. The 51 Bowman has him stretching almost like a first baseman. You can't see his face too clearly. You can't really see a Detroit logo, and so I thought this was a better card. So when it popped up at Matt's booth, I jumped on it immediately. So I was really glad to pick that up. And with the bundling that Matt gave me, that came out to $5. Next one was in one of his vintage value boxes. This is a Willie McCovey 61 Topps high number. Again, $5 off. I got it for $30. I think this is his best looking card of all of them. Now, I'd love a card where he had his huge swing because he really just wrangled his body, but that doesn't exist. But this card, one of the corners is off, but the back is just so, other than the corners, just perfect. It just looks so nice. And I just love the dark green, the yellow, and just his pose here. It's my favorite McCovey card. So when I saw that, I grabbed it immediately. I knew I wanted it because I had finalized the McCovey. He was one of the first players. I was like, I know that I want this card. So I was able to get $5 off that because I bought, and this is my big pickup of the show, put it in front, a 1955 Ted Williams, 1.5. And when questioning 1.5, I think it's literally the corners are all round. But looking at it, the colors, like the green down here is perfect. The registration on the logo, the picture, all clear. No creases that I can make out. And I'm a big crease guy. I don't like creases very much. Centering sometimes, but the centering on this is fairly decent. Top to bottom, it's pretty good. Left to right is all right. But it's not going to kill me for the card, but it just looks so awesome. So for 165, I guess there's a slight toning. I don't know if you can pick it up. There might be a slight toning right there, or stain. But otherwise, I don't mind corners worn, especially since this is almost 70 years old. Just a fabulous card, a fabulous example. And to get it for a lower price because it's a lower grade, even though it looks so nice, aside from the corners, I thought was fantastic. So I bundled this with those two cards for $200 total, figuring I'll pay full price on this because I think it's a decent price. They typically go 200-ish on eBay, and then I'll knock $5 off that in my head. And Matt from Providence was quick to say yep to that. He's great to work with. So those are the things I picked up. Yeah. A lot of vintage. The show was great. There have been some other videos about it. I'm excited to see what everyone else picks up, but I'm super stoked with what I was able to add to my collection. This is probably the biggest Shriner show for me in terms of pickups and really cool vintage stuff. Yeah, I did some good spending, but I also picked up some really cool cards. And usually at a show, I'll come away with one biggish card, but I feel like on this one, I came away with 4 big cards because I can see, even though I only paid $30, that's a pretty big card. But the Williams and the 2 tobacco cards are huge, and then a nice, accompaniment with the 2 1911s and the George Kell. I had an awesome day. I loved meeting, the fellow YouTubers, and it's just a fantastic show. And I'm so happy I went. I'm so glad I got to go, and I can't wait for next year. I'm going to start. I'm not going to go to the National. And so I'm going to start saving now, and hopefully next year I'll have even bigger budget. I'll have an even crazier time, and it'll just be awesome. So anyway, this is a really long video, but I think it's worth it just to share it, and I'll be glad in future years to look back at this video and look back and remember November 2nd, 2024, an awesome day of the Shriner. So if you stayed this long, thank you so much. I appreciate it. If you were one of the few that talked to me at the show, thanks for including me. I really appreciate it. And if you're just a vintage collector, I'd love to hear from you. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.